here I am again. So this is a little different because it's no longer the Magic Star reward game. Bye. Goodbye. We'll miss you. But I have something else in store for level 5. Okay, level 5 lessons. Not so many activities, are there? At least not so many clickable. These lessons are much more mature. They have less of the fun and games interactivity and much more mental interactivity. I have kicked out the Magic Star reward game. Yeah, I'm sad to see it go, but everything has its place. That doesn't mean that you can't use the Magic Star reward game in your level 5 lessons. You know your students. My level 5 lessons right now, all of my students are 13 and up. So they are more mature. I even have a 15-year-old. So the Magic Star reward game doesn't work quite so well with my students. You might have 10-year-olds in level 5. So it's perfectly okay to go back to the Magic Star reward game. You just play it differently, right? You might use it during the transition slides and give everybody a turn, right? It's up to you. That's one of the best things about the game is it's versatile. You use it the way you want to use it. So I've decided to dump it for level 5. Level 5, instead, I have pulled the DARE slides out of the Magic Star reward game and just turned them into their own little game all by themselves. It's not a complete game. I look through the lessons, find a place to play it, and I do this. Are you ready? It's time for the DARE. Will you do it? If you do it, I will give you 3 magic stars. Are you ready? Dun, da, dun, da, 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 dun, da, 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 da. The lesson was on food. Okay, so that's the general idea. You hold it up to the camera. My tablet has a nice handle on it, so my arm doesn't get so tired holding it up. I don't have to worry about dropping it. I can kind of flip it around. So if you use your phone, I suggest getting one of those little tabs that hook on the back so you don't have to worry about dropping anything. Nothing worse than, doing this and having your phone fly back behind you. So this is the introduction. Stay tuned. Here comes the tutorial for how to set up and use the DARE slides. Okay, let's go. Okay, so level 5. You basically teach 2 types of lessons. From what I've seen so far, I could be wrong. Don't hold me to this because I just started teaching level 5s. Your first lesson on the week will focus on reading skills. And your second lesson of the week will focus on conversation. So the first one has it's mostly like reading comprehension. So the students have a lot of reading to do. There are basically 0 clickable activities, like maybe 1 where it scores who was first, second, third, or fourth. And the other type of lesson, the one you do later in the week, is more conversation. That one's more like the old lessons or level 4s and below. It has vocabulary words, it has some activities, but it has very few clickable activities. It has like 4, maybe 5, if you're lucky. Whereas, when they were in level 4s, they were used to like 12, 13, 14 activities. To go from that to like 4 or 5. I try to do more engagement throughout the lesson. I try to do more intellectual engagement. I still keep things light and fun, but I try to engage them more through their intellect and challenging them mentally than I do with fun and games. But we still have a game because we still need to get them up and moving if we can. So what I did was pull the Magic Star reward game, file, make a copy. So here's one of the first level 5 lessons, food around the world. I name it this. I don't usually start with this template, but I'll do it this way just to make it easier for you. Food around the world. Remember, file, make a copy, name it for the lesson. Okay. Now it's saving it to your Google Drive. And your Magic Star template is still there, perfectly safe, unharmed, unchanged. And now we have a new Google slide for food around the world. Get rid of everything basically. So all of it goes da 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 do 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 delete. And all of this goes delete. And you're left with the dare. I preview my lesson content, okay? I look and see how often I should put a dare in the lesson. Typically, I've been doing it twice. I'll break up the lesson into thirds and make sure I do the dare somewhere twice during the lesson. So first off, we duplicate because we want 2 dares. We go to our folder where you presumably have your dares stored. So when I have spare time or when I'm previewing the lessons and I think I want really lesson relevant gifts and I don't think I have any, I will go to the gift sites. The ones there's what Giphy and there's Tenor, Tenor. Both of those seem to be the most easy to navigate, I guess. So I go there and I just kind of browse through and try and find. You can do searches. So for specific lessons, I've actually done searches. I open my folder on my desktop and I just merely reach over, grab it, and drop it. Then I make it bigger and just place it right over the top of that box. And the second dare, grab something else. Here we go. Again, blow it up big enough that it, I know that it pixelates them, but usually the students can still get the gist of the movement and the gist of the funniness because as it's going back through to their small screen, it kind of unpixelates it. I'm not sure how to explain that. But when they're seeing it small in their computer screen through the teacher's window, because remember, I'm holding this up to my webcam. So they're only seeing this the size of the teacher's window would normally be. So it's generally pretty small. This would be the dare game. That's it. There are 2 dares in the lesson. That's it. Setting it up is quick and simple. The most time consuming aspect of this is finding the gifts. It's surprising how long it can take to find a gift because they need to be, you don't want them too challenging where the students can't do them. You want them to be entertaining so that the student wants to do them or laughs if they don't do them. You also need them to be appropriate, no adult activity, no, you have to watch what they're doing, how they're doing it. I avoid hip action and I watch very carefully for the clothing that they're wearing. And you have to watch for text so it doesn't say something inappropriate in a text. I try to avoid the text altogether. Try and use gifts that don't have text. Next, I will show you how I use this in my level 5 lessons. Not with an actual class, but Okay, here we go. A demo for level 5, what I do to get those kids moving. Here we go. First thing I do is I open my Google Drive in my tablet. Make sure you're signed in first. If you use a computer or a smartphone, go through whatever process you go through to open Google Slides. For a computer or desktop, laptop, whatever, if you're using Manycam, be aware that I believe this only opens full screen, so be prepared for that. Test it out maybe in an empty class before your students are there and see how it works. I'm not very familiar with Manycam. You'll have to use your best judgment. Anyway, we click present. Boom, 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 boom. Dare. Now, what I normally do here is I duplicate this first one, maybe the second one. so that when I hold the tablet up to the camera, I can click on DARE and the students can actually see the movement, included in the transition, how the DARE spins around. It, build up a little bit of suspense. So I open it, it's open to the first one. So I open the game when I'm preparing for my lessons and have it set down on my desktop like this. Or between lessons, whatever, you go and you open the next one. So this is how it sits on my desktop, face down on my tablet, ready for whichever transition slide I plan to use it on. I have notes in front of my computer for which page every section of the lesson is on, etc. So let's say we're at the reading section is where I want to throw this in. So we've come up on the reading transition slide. Okay, everybody, are you ready for the dare? And I'll hold the tablet up to the camera, tap it, and they get to see the thing spinny, spinny, spinny. Remember, everybody, 3 stars for the dare. If you do it, you get 3 stars. Are you ready? You can even get them to like build up excitement and you can get them to actually tell you they're ready. It's fun. If you have students that turn off their cameras, remind them that their camera has to be on for them to get stars for the dare. They can't just tell you they're doing it. No, you have to see them do it. 3 stars for the dare. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, a dancing. What? It's better if they tell you what it is than if you tell them because they're using their English. It's funnier. I had actually every student in the class did this one. I was surprised. I didn't think they would, but like every student did this one, the dancing taco. You give your stars. It's actually better if they all do it because it takes time to give 3 students 3 stars each because you can only give 1 star per student at a time. They did the dare. It's worth taking a little time out of your lesson to reward them with the stars. And even if they don't do the dare, they're laughing. They're laughing at the GIF. They're laughing at their classmate. If they're not laughing, I bet you can make them laugh by you doing the GIF. If you do it, they may even laugh at the teacher. Any movement helps. Even if they're not moving, that laughter is getting their blood flowing, getting oxygen moving around and pumping to the brain. So it served its purpose. That's what you want it to do. You want it to get things, you want it to get the blood flowing. You want to get them engaged in the lesson. And even the kid who has their head down doing their homework is going to look up to see what's going on when everybody's laughing at the GIF. So it does something. It gets them re-engaged in the lesson and gives them a little bit of a break from the learning too. This is this one. And then I click it off and put down my tablet. So the next time I do it might be like towards the end of the lesson, right before the writing activity. Are you ready for the dare? Let's go. Again, I tap it as I'm reaching it up to the camera so that they see the dare move. 3 stars if you do it. Are you ready? What? They all laughed at this one. This one got a good laugh. Like 2 of the students did it. They even did the smacking the face, which was kind of funny. This was level 5. No more Magic Star Reward game. We've moved up to just the dares. Some lessons I'll put in 3 dares. Some lessons I'll have 2. Remember, they're a little time consuming with the star rewards. And level 5 lessons are also very time consuming. So you don't want to put in too many of these because they'll take too much time away from the lesson. And these are older kids, so they don't need quite as much entertainment. These are older kids, so you can keep them more focused on the lesson. You don't want to miss out on anything because they're playing a game. So that's how I change it up. And then I actually have one of these saved as a template somewhere. You can easily make your own template. Just pull out the GIFs and save it as DARE template. And there we go. There's the DARE template right there. All done. Now you can just, every time you have a lesson, you just go in, File, make a copy, title it for your lesson title, and off you go. Remember, I recommend that you keep these in your drive because you are very likely to have this lesson again. I'm assuming you're planning to teach long term. At some point, you may have this lesson again. So keep it in your drive so that you have it ready and available next time you teach the lesson. And you want it to go digging for gifts again.